Alrighty folks, we're live here at Comic Con Africa 2022 and we're sitting with the incredibly talented, vastly experienced Stephane Roux, all the way from, I think it was France originally, now the United States.
Exactly, France to begin with. I was born there. I was not raised there because I grew up in Tahiti in the South Pacific. And then I moved back to France to study art and spent my life there for 20 years having a career in animation. And then I switched careers and I started doing comic books and working in the US.
And what prompted the switch? Were you just looking for something new, or was it...
It was not really a calculated decision because I was just in the middle of directing a show that was quite popular in French-spoken countries. A TV show about kids playing soccer. So in European countries, French-spoken countries, it was definitely a winner.
Yeah.
Right? But I just, I've always pushed my creativity in 2 or 3 directions. One of them being drawing graphic novels / comic books. And as I grew older as a teenager, I was always more drawn to comics than to European-style graphic novels. That was how I started discovering about stories with images, the graphic novels, the Tintins, the Asterix, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that was more like for kids.
Yeah.
And then as you grow older and you find more appealing substance in the stories and in the some of the metaphors that those stories were tackling with the comic book genre. For example, social issues.
Like the good old Len Wein and Arthur Adams stuff Neil Adams that they were doing.
Like for example, the Green Lantern and Green Arrow, drug addiction, the social issues and the subtext of racism and the difference that the mutant threat represented with the X-Men and stuff like that. As a teenager, you can't really put your finger on it, but you get a hint that it echoes with things that are happening in the real world at another level that your parents understand, but you're getting there, and it's kind of like flattering to understand because you're kind of like I'm understanding more and more stuff, and that's what makes it interesting. And then you can see the echo in real life, and so that was the thing that drawn me more to comics because. The graphic novels that we had in France and Europe, at the time, and being in Tahiti, I didn't have access to enough material that would make me realize that there might have been also options in that field.
Right.
You know, and comics were really more accessible. So.
I'm sure. Question for you: which characters resonated with you, and maybe one step further, which characters do you most like to draw?
Today. My favorite character is the Rocketeer.
Really?
Yeah, the Rocketeer. I have a thing for either big brutes, like the Hulk,
right.
the Thing, which are not really just big brutes, right? But the overall, the first approach is, oh wow. And characters with helmets, somehow. Like bucket heads, fin heads. I mean, Iron Man, I have issues with the personality of Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because it's sending some mixed signals sometimes, but it's also what makes the character rich and interesting. The fact that he has those flaws that we can relate to.
Whereas the Rocketeer was just an everyday guy.
Rocketeer is appealing more to my taste for retro design. The style that spans from the late 30s to the mid 60s. Just before the flower power movement and stuff, so everything that's like between art deco and Mad Men. That's the thing that I like, the elegance of the designs, the streamlined aspects of buildings and vehicles and stuff like that. The way fashion was for men and women. So there's all that, and then there's the character with a helmet, a metal helmet. So yeah, that kind of stuff is always appealing to me.
Yesterday I saw you with a lot of watercolor. Today I'm seeing lots of inks here. I just want to know, what is your favorite medium to work with?
When it comes to technique, my favorite thing is that as an artist, I can try anything. Because sometimes, especially when you're commissioned drawings by somebody else, what they want might not be what the character needs. For example, that's the most basic example that comes to mind for me. I still haven't wrapped my head around the fact that a lot of people like the White Queen.
Right.
For obvious reasons.
The aesthetic look.
But I also get a lot of requests for that character to be drawn in full color, which doesn't make sense to me because she's basically dressed in white. So I'm like, wouldn't you rather pay more for a drawing and have her in gray tones or in black and white? You know, it makes more sense. I mean, if you have a character like Spider-Man, go full color, I totally get it. The Hulk, same, because you have to show that it's green. Otherwise, it's just a super buff guy. You know, I mean, he's got a weird face, but that makes more sense in a way. So, depending on what the character calls for, I would rather switch to black and white or the situation. In this instance, for example, it's a comedy situation. It doesn't require to have color. It's the situations that makes the drawing.
Yeah.
When it's more of a moody drawing where you want to set an ambiance, you want to have like a sunset, or for example, somebody commissioning a Mando or a Boba Fett in Tatooine with the sun setting in the back, if you draw it in black and white, you're missing something. If you do the colors, then you set the mood and you bring it to another level. Even though you don't have the features of the character, it's just a helmet. It's going to be exciting to work with the brightness on the helmet for Mando, the bumps and the scratches on Boba Fett's helmet. So this is fun to do. Better than just drawing a black and white line art for this.
I'm with you. Your trip to South Africa so far, how's it been? Have you enjoyed our country, the vibe?
It's been an emotional roller coaster, and I really mean that in the best of possible ways. The people, the land, the obvious experience of, you know, going to safari. We've been treated like royalty here. It's been, but once you get past that and you try to get in touch with what makes this country real, it keeps giving more and more, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you, sir. I think for me, one last question. What are you currently working on right now? What should people look out for?
If I was to tell you, I would have to kill you. No, I'm seriously, I'm working on, I've kind of been forced and stepped away from mainstream because the span of a career in comic books can be pretty short. Whether you fall from grace or not, it's just the nature of the business. There's a huge turnover. The editors, publishers are always seeking for new talent to serve their product, right? So you got to make the best of it, and then you have to start developing your own stories. You have to create your own niche if you can, and make it grow and nurture it and keep people interested in it through your skills, your ability to tell stories right, to make it enticing. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working on my own project, and it's basically I'm tapping into what structured me as an artist. The first things that I fell in love with, whether it's TV programs or books I read, overall pop culture influences. So basically I'm working on a project that is a love letter to the animes of the late 70s, early 80s, but it's not done in a manga style. It's a mix, it's a blend of Western artistic designs, cartoon, Disney, if you will, to make it simple. But it has that anime vibe with, it's a love letter to giant robots. And it's not Transformers, it's not all the gizmos and gadgets and stuff that, it just pre-Gundam and Robotech. It's more like in the steps of Mazinger, Jig for Italy. I know Jig is big in Italy. Mazinger in Spain, in Italy also. In France, we only got exposed to one major robot, and that was enough to turn around a whole generation. The character was named Grandizer in Japan. In France, they translated it as Goldorak, and it was an overnight sensation. The following in France is just immense. It's crazy. So I'm kind of paying tribute to that era, to the love that we, as Frenchmen, we have for this character, but I'm creating my own story with my own origin story and my own lineup of characters, villains and heroes alike.
Well, I'm connected with you on social media now. I'm going to be bugging you for when that's coming out. I'll look out for it. Maybe give our viewers a shout out to all the platforms they can reach you on. We're going to put those links in as well.
Sure. So I'm mostly known on Instagram as French Wookie, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm French and I'm tall, so that was an easy choice. I also have an Instagram account that is about some cosplay that I do on the side. Not that I dress as Sailor Moon or any of that, right? But I pick my characters a little bit more, I'm more selective. But I build stuff, like I've built a life-size Hulk head. I've built a thing from the Fantastic Four costume that you can see on that page, and the name of the page is Shed Magic Cosplay. Other than that, you can follow me on Facebook under my name with an accent on the E. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I had a website. I'm going to make a new one soon, but it's not ready yet. Other than that, you just type my name on Google Image and you will find stuff.
Thank you so much, Stephane. To our viewers,
I'm also on Twitch doing videos sometimes of the art that I'm producing live. It's artovsr, ARTOVSR.
So they can watch you do like live sketching, drawing.
Yes, and send messages, and I respond when I see them, and it's a good way to interact.
I'm going to look out for that too. Folks, find Stephane on all the social medias. Follow him. His art is unbelievable. Such a talented guy, and we're going to stay connected to him and just watch him as he goes forward. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.